Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. All right, so today I am in Los Angeles, California, and I'm at the HealthSpan Summit. Let me tell you, Elias and his team have put on an amazing 2-day event, and my next guest is William. William, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Adam. I really appreciate the invitation and hopefully being able to be really productive in terms of information.
Amazing. So what brings you out to the conference today?
So basically, Brad, he said, hey, this is a conference that would be really important and for it to really, have an audience in the United States. And so I figured, okay, I'm on my way to Europe and Dubai. Yeah. And so I figured, this kind of worked in perfectly. And I'm really glad I came. There's just really great innovation out there in terms of longevity. And I met a lot of really great people.
So talk to me a little bit more about your company and product.
Sure. So basically what we do as a company, we've built and we are still building an IoT platform that solves the back problem with AI and embedded sensors in our posture correcting devices that are backed by doctors. And so basically this is one of our flagship products, the one that's commercially ready at the moment. And basically what it does is that we're fusing ergonomic design as a hardware that's fused together with software, and the AI is able to provide that personalization. And it's all coming into one in order to help people to understand and as well as to receive really meaningful data based on their personal data performance.
How did you come up with this idea? Where did that start?
So I suffer from back pain for many, many years. It's just, you're just busy all the time. And of course, I try and go for treatments like chiropractic and physical therapy. And it works, but sometimes in my busy life, it's just kind of hard to get out there. And then when, you feel really good and then you get back into it, you got to go back for treatment again. And then you have these FDA approved products that's sort of big and bulky and you got to use them in a controlled environment. And then you have these other wearables. They're sort of limited in their usage, and as well as that, it's sort of expected for the person to integrate into the hardware, and the hardware is actually completely useless. And so, being a back pain sufferer myself, and just trying all these different solutions, really wasn't working. And really, the pivoting point came when my wife, and she's a busy entrepreneur as well, is that on our 10th year anniversary when we're supposed to be traveling, she ended up in a wheelchair.
Oh no!
Because of a back issue that just just all of a sudden, and then we spent pretty much the entire trip with her in the wheelchair and lying down. So that's when we really started thinking about we need to get back and really try all these different things, and it just wasn't working. And that's when we decided, okay, we're going to. We did try to find other solutions, and I did one major investment into a back products company that actually kind of worked. And that's when I got the idea is, why don't we put like these really great technologies like sensor technologies, you know, and then turn them into smart products. And that's really where the idea came from.
How did you know, when you were developing the product, how did you know that this was going to be like a serious thing? Like not something that you were just going to create to kind of like help yourself, help your wife, but you're like, going down as an entrepreneur, going down that rabbit hole or whatever you want to call it. And then you're like, okay, this is something that can help a lot of people.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was involved with a posture products business. And so when I was introducing these products into my market, which is Asia, I live in South Korea. And so, I was in 23 department stores, we're home shopping. And so you kind of know what works, right? And especially being a back pain sufferer yourself. And then when people are responding to these different products, then you kind of know that, when you're not the only one. And it's a $1.5 trillion global pain market, right? I mean, the cost to economy, even in the United States, is about $400 billion by itself. Absenteeism, it's the number one cause, or number two reason for absenteeism. Number one cause of disability worldwide is back pain. And, and now with children, 1 in 3 children before they hit the age of 15 are going to be suffering from back pain.
Wow.
So with this advent of sedentary lifestyle, sitting is a new smoking, all this stuff coming up, I consider it sort of like a global silent killer.
Yeah.
Right. It's just no one really talks about it. No one really understands why you get into it. I mean, you could cookie cut the whole thing and say, it's only because you're sitting for 8 to 10 hours. That's the reason why you have back pain. But what kind of sitting are you doing? Are you an airline pilot? Are you a truck driver? Are you an office worker? And also the different types of pain that comes from that. So knowing that there's a lot of different products out there, I just wanted to build products that really help people immediately, and then being able to put, have technology built into those already well-designed products, right? So we're not really reinventing the wheel, but at the same time, we're sort of bringing all the best of everything and building a brand new category.
Yeah. In building a category, well, first off, I know you mentioned you were an entrepreneur now and you were working in posture and working in back. Were you working in creating like tech like this in the past too? Was that part of your background as well?
Yeah. So I'm a technologist, right? But I'm not an engineer, right? But the thing is, though, is that I do a lot of different inventions, I guess you could say. Just having ideas, knowing that that there's a demand out there, and then I find really the great partners that I that
to
will
make
help.
Those inventions come to life.
Exactly. And so I guess you could say I'm a builder. And I'm always willing to work with people, and having other partners and working together with other partners is really interesting, and you're really building something together. And that's really basically what it is. And like I suffer from back pain. I am. I try to find these different products, and I did this investment, and then I helped grow Asia, and then all of a sudden, you start to get the epiphany, and you're saying, hey, because I live in South Korea, right? So I live in Seoul. I am Canadian, born in Toronto, raised in Vancouver, but I was placed, by destiny, I guess you could say. I started my career at PwC, and then just my life story kind of goes from there, and then being a back pain sufferer, and then making those investments, and then being a part of that, and seeing what's right and what's wrong. Right, and learning from that, and then you just sort of have this idea, and you're trying to introduce it, and they're not going to do it, so I decided to do it myself. Yeah.
So go a little bit further into, for those that are at home and haven't had and don't have the opportunity to try one of these.
Yeah.
Talk about like what need this fills and how it's helping people with back pain, like specifically.
Yeah. So that's a really loaded question because a lot of people suffer from different types of back pain.
Of course.
I would say, if you're talking more like in terms of who would need it, it's really there's two types of people: those that are suffering from it, and those that want to prevent it from happening.
Yeah.
Right. So I think with this trend of longevity and people wanting to be better in their health, I think that sort of this falls into that sort of category. And everybody knows someone that has back pain.
Yeah.
And that suffers from it. Right. So the market in terms of customers, right, are obviously those that suffer from it, but those that want to prevent it from happening, and those that don't suffer from it are going to suffer from someday. Right, or something's going to happen, right? It's just that's the way it is, right? I mean, 90% or 80% of the population, of adult population, suffer from it.
So how does it work?
Yeah, so basically, what it does is that it looks really simple.
So describe it.
Yeah, so basically, it's a posture correcting device by itself. Right, so you can see that
it's like a seat, right? So somebody sits in it.
Exactly. So what you do is that you just place it on. So this seat right here turns any seat, any chair, anything you sit on into a smart ergonomic experience.
Yeah.
Right. And what it does is that it's elevated to give you that pelvic tilt. So when you sit on it, it elevates your pelvic muscles into your natural spine position, right? And then has embedded sensors inside of them, right? That's connected to your mobile app, where now users are able to now monitor and analyze a good and bad posture throughout the day. And then through that data, then our AI kicks in and tells you very specific exercise and programs that are customized just for you.
Yeah.
Right?
And I would describe it as like, what would you say? Like an upside down turtle shell kind of?
When you flip it, it looks like a turtle.
Yep.
But actually when you turn it the other way,
or a potato chip, like you're sitting in you're sitting in a Pringo chip almost.
I would say it's kind of like a bucket.
There you go.
It's like if just imagine like a half a bucket. A potato chip. I think
potato chip looks pretty good. It's like almost like you're sitting in a potato chip, and that's just for people that are listening at home. So you're kind of like sitting in that. And I sat on it earlier, by the way. So you kind of are sitting in this potato chip, and it gave me this feeling of like wanting to balance. Like maybe go there. And I saw the app.
Yeah, so the potato chips concept is actually really good, and you can imagine that when your butt falls into it, right, it kind of gives you that nice little snug.
Yeah.
Right. It kind of captures your buttocks, right, and it kind of gives it that little pelvic lift by itself because it's angled 15-degree angled this way, right. So when you sit on it, then you feel the immediate effect of it.
Yeah.
Right? Lifting your pelvic off of the chair, right. So it's basically floating your spine.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you're sitting on that, then you're activating the sensors inside of it, right. So the pressure sensors, right, and then with the Bluetooth, then it gets connected to your mobile app, right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And give me some of the functionality so that was in the app, because I noticed when I was scrolling through it, like there's many different things in its recording, right?
Yep.
So
So we try to keep it really simple, so in order not to overwhelm the user,
Yeah.
right? So we give you a posture score. So it's kind of like what Fitbit does in terms of trying to achieve 10,000 steps, right? So you want to achieve 80% of good posture.
Oh wow.
Okay, and then
That's
gives
pretty
you,
cool then. So then you can tell like day by day, because I mean, what's the best that you can normally do without a device like this? You could say, I think I feel
maybe.
like I was doing, or you could catch yourself slouching and be like, try to straighten up, or
By
but
yourself?
That's what I mean. Like you're not. It's basically you can't.
You can't. Well, the thing is, when you're sitting, you're concentrating on something, right? Either a conversation or your work or whatever.
You catch yourself later when it starts to hurt.
Exactly.
When it starts to hurt, that's when you straighten back up. Like, oh, I better fix my posture.
That's right.
But
That's right.
you can't possibly just sit there and lay.
Yeah.
So now, now this is the point.
We'll do it for you.
That it can tell you, and you can tell if you're making progress over time.
Exactly. And actually, subconsciously, your body, because of the activation of your pelvic tilt,
That makes so much sense.
what happens is that the neural pathways between your brain and your spine are talking to each other. So you don't have to think about it. It automatically just your body is talking to each other, and so subconsciously, you get into that postural, elevated postural natural, alignment.
And then possibly that your brain is also, for those of you that are gamers and like to hit scores,
there
you're
you
already
go.
thinking about it, and then you're programming your subconscious for your score.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, that's the thing.
Like that's
gamers,
the thing. If you're a gamer, then you're thinking about your score even when you don't think you're thinking about your score.
That's right. And a lot of elite esports players who we're working with today, they would tell us, or even the team managers, they're so focused on their work, and we all relate to this because we're focused on when we're sitting,
for sure.
And they lose, everyone has a different postural form
they'll fall into.
Exactly.
And they're young normally when they start, so not to, they're going to be young, so they fall into a habit falling.
The average age of retirement for gamers is usually about 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
On the elite level.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, if we could extend it for another year or two, of course but they have to focus on. It's the number one. The lack of posture is the number one cause of retirement, and the second is the wrist.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Posture. It literally breaks down their body.
It does. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so that'd be like...
and it's the number one claim on insurance on a lot of insurance policies as well. I mean, it's just that, like, again, people don't know this, right? Until they actually experience it themselves, when it becomes personal.
So use cases for this. So office, we're talking about gamers, obviously, but like office, car, like talk to me about use cases.
Anywhere where your butt sits is where you're going to need the seat. So I'm flying out literally to Luxembourg in about 4 hours from now, right? And I need this seat because I'm going to be on that plane for about 11.
That fits in a plane seat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Basically, what I like to say is that it turns my economy seat, into a business class
I just
seat.
flew in from Singapore, so you're saying I needed one of those things?
Yeah, well, it's 500 grams.
How do you get to?
It's not heavy.
It's okay to get through like an airport. They're not going to be like, "Hey, what's that you got there?"
No, one time, I have a story behind that. When U.S. Customs, being a Canadian, he said, "What is that?"
You got a Canadian passport. They're like, "He's fine. Let him through. Let him through. He's got a Canadian passport. It's okay. We don't care." That's cool.
Yeah, and so I call it the bucket seat. I just say, "Hey, it's a," so the potato chip concept. Yeah, I call it. I used to call it the bucket seat, but now I guess that's what I'll describe it as now. So thanks a lot, Adam, for that. Yeah, reminding me of how to describe it. Yeah,
awesome.
When I'm not showing it around.
All good. Well, William, first off, it's been great having you on the show. Last thing I want you to do, look into the camera. How do people follow up? How do they learn? How do they get a device?
Well, you could go to our website at www.neurabody.ai, neurabody.ai. And if you reach out to us, on the contact form there as well. And as well, if you want to get a discount, you could, the discount code is NeuraSit 30, SIT30, and you get your 30% off the seat for your audience.
Awesome. And for everybody at home watching, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes so you can just click on the links and head right on over. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And William, man, it's been a blast.